Fishing without bait? These things are better than real bait. If the bait suits the fish's taste, big fish will follow. If not, they'll swim away even after entering the nest. Whether the bait is suitable is the key to catching fish. So what kind of bait is suitable? Some anglers think that what fish are used to eating is good. For example, when fishing in a black pit, look for original pond pellets. When fishing in a reservoir, check the surrounding crops. These are all good methods. However, there's another idea about using bait. These baits have almost nothing to do with taste, but they still can bring good catches, and that's artificial bait. 1. Sea rod. The most well-known artificial bait fishing method is using a sea rod. It's a method that imitates prey in shape and movement, mainly targeting carnivorous fish. However, in traditional fishing, artificial baits mainly target omnivorous fish. This is because although the bait is fake, some have a taste similar to food, some have a shape similar to food, and some have overly prominent colors, which can attract fish's attention very well. A classic fishing method is the loach hook, which is essentially no different from the sea rod fishing method. It also uses a homemade hook similar to a lead head hook, but now instead of loach, materials like plastic cloth and silk cloth are used, and they must be quite reflective. Cast far to catch large topmouth coulter, and make it move dynamically by swinging the rod and reeling in the line. Shrimp skin string hooks are actually similar, and their efficiency is even higher. 2. Trolling. If the topmouth coulter is relatively large, only long-distance casting is suitable. This is because large topmouth coulter like to eat live bait, and the small fish schools in deep water are their food sources, so large topmouth coulter will never get close to the shore. Don't even think about it without a reel. But some topmouth coulter that are not so large mainly move in shallow water areas because large topmouth coulter even eat smaller ones. The best time to catch both large and small topmouth coulter is in the early morning and dusk. If you want to catch small topmouth coulter, there's a very practical fishing method here, which is long rod trolling. The 7-star float is used to fish the surface layer. Hang a small piece of foam on the hook, which is cut from the foam net bag that wraps fruits. Dragging it on the surface works quite well. Trolling is not only suitable for catching topmouth coulter but also for larger whitebait. However, if you want to catch more whitebait, the 7-star hook is a more efficient method. 3. Bead fishing. Bead fishing is different from the above methods. The above methods are essentially dynamic, but bead fishing is completely different. It's a method of waiting for fish to bite. The reason why fish bite the beads is closely related to color. Bright colors are easier for fish to find in the water. Moreover, traditional bead fishing uses floating beads, which are extremely eye-catching in places with complex underwater environments. As long as fish enter the nest, they will definitely find the beads first and can't help but take a bite. Colors can actually attract fish. For example, grass carp like green, crucian carp like yellow, white, and red, carp like brown, and some carnivorous fish mostly like dark red. Bead fishing has a variety of ways to play, and it's used in fishing methods such as hand rods, string hooks, explosion hooks, and flip hooks. It can also be used in black pits, but instead of floating beads, sinking soft beads are used, mainly to catch large-sized black carp and carp. Often, in order to fish farther, it's paired with lead-free fishing methods. For spring fishing, a more distinctive folk artificial bait fishing method is spring fishing, which is a very hard fishing method, mainly targeting bottom-dwelling crucian carp, and often can catch larger individuals. First, prepare a long rod and remove the overly soft tip sections. Otherwise, if the tip is too soft during spring fishing, the fishing tackle will be very difficult to operate and may even fly around. Use an upward-facing hook. Usually, no float is used. If used, at most one 7-star float is used, which is to observe the approximate position of the fishing line and grasp the up and down range when teasing fish. The bait uses foam particles, which require elastic, soft, and high-density foam. Usually, a piece is cut from old foam slippers, trimmed into a circle, with yellow and white being the best. It can also be soaked in essence for a few days, but it doesn't seem to make much difference whether it's soaked or not. After making a nest and waiting for the fish to gather, you can start spring fishing. By the way, there's another artificial bait for catching whitebait, which is spider silk. It was introduced before, so it won't be introduced here. The use of artificial bait seems to have nothing to do with the bait suiting the fish's taste, but who knows what fish really like. Artificial bait has a big advantage: it's cheap. Author profile: I'm a self-media blogger who loves fishing and is good at sharing. Follow me, and we'll exchange fishing skills and discuss every bit of wild fishing for anglers. Give a like, save it, and follow to never miss the next update.